You're listening to Mind, Body, Home with your host, Sara Ann. Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Mind, Body, Home podcast. I had a wonderful weekend. My family and I traveled down to San Antonio. It's actually our second time going down since we've been in Texas. We really love it there. The Riverwalk, of course, is very infamous, and the kids get a real kick out of it. It was nice to just really connect with them, and we all detached. I didn't even pack my laptop. I was so proud of myself. So it was a really pleasant weekend. We really bonded as a family. We don't have extended family here in Texas, so the last time we went down there was actually over Christmas break. So we've been there for Christmas, which is an amazing time to go if you've never been. It's so beautiful. They put Christmas lights all through the trees that overhang the Riverwalk, and it's really, really beautiful. But we also went down just this past weekend for Easter weekend, and it was a little less busy, which was nice. So a little less crowded, and we just had a great time. So I hope you also had a wonderful Easter weekend. Today is April 2nd. So we're starting a new month, which is exciting. I have a feeling that April is going to be explosive. I have so much going on this month, but I'm ready for it. I feel like I've prepared for it mentally. My home is prepared for it. But I feel in my body just this excitement for everything that's coming up. And so we have our move. We're finally moving into our home. We closed on our house in February. So we've been waiting and waiting and waiting to get in there. So we'll be moving in the next few weeks. I've recently announced my Mind, Body, Home alignment coaching. I have been doing self and spiritual development for over a decade, and there has been this part of me that has wanted to really help others through that process, because whenever we want to make changes in our life, it can seem very overwhelming. It can seem almost impossible. And I think that one of the things that has helped me so much through that process was having a community. And, even though people in that community were sort of going through different transitions, jumping through different obstacles and bigger hurdles, there was this commonality among all of us that we weren't alone in what we were trying to accomplish. And so community has become everything for me. And so that's really what I hope to create with Mind, Body, Home alignment. And my goal is to create a group community down the road. But to start, I'm going to be offering coaching services. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But I wanted to also make sure that you have registered for the Connect with Your Clutter workshop. It's happening this Thursday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. The link to register is down in the show notes. If you're on my email list, you also received an email on Friday. You'll probably receive another one today. Even though you've expressed interest in attending the workshop, you have to register through Zoom to receive the Zoom link. So be sure to register. I'm really excited about this workshop. It's going to be jam-packed. I have it scheduled for 90 minutes. I'm going to really try to wrap it up in 60 and leave some time at the end for questions. So, who is this workshop for? I think a lot of us may be questioning, do I have clutter? Do I not have clutter? It's really kind of taking the traditional understanding of clutter and really flipping it on its head. Maybe you don't necessarily feel like you have a lot of clutter, but I can tell you, if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel like your life and your home is a little bit chaotic, I can tell you you're going to get something out of this workshop. Home to me is that missing piece of the mind-body equation, right? And I'm going to talk about this a little bit when I talk about alignment. But when we make that connection, when we integrate mind, body, and home, we then can create and maintain a life and a home that is of balance and beauty, that is in alignment with not only our goals and, desires and aspirations, but it's also in line with our spirit. So you may have heard me say before, a lot of people say mind, body, soul, or mind, body, spirit. I believe it's mind plus body plus home equals spirit. When we're aligned in those three, we are creating a life and a home that is in alignment with our higher spirit. And the first step to really rediscovering that alignment and regaining a sense of balance can be found among your clutter, amongst your stuff. So if you often feel overwhelmed, if you struggle to find more time at home or in life in general, you don't know really where to start. You want to feel more peace. You want to be more present with your loved ones at home and not be constantly tasking in your mind all the things that you need to get done. Or you struggle with procrastination, maybe a little bit of indecisiveness, worry, the to-do list is just too long. Or maybe you do have some issues around clutter in the traditional sense and you have a hard time letting go. Any and all of these points are reasons to come to this workshop. And if you can't make it live, of course, there will be a recording available for a short period of time afterwards. So my goal with the workshop is for you to have a lot of value, a lot of insight into your own personal relationship with your home, right? I'm going to go through what clutter is, what it is not, right? It's not just, as I just alluded to, messy piles of paper. It's not too many clothes hanging in your closet. That is superficial clutter. We're going to explore underneath all of that. I want you to start seeing your home as a vision board and a manifestation tool. Know how to listen to that intuitive voice of your home because it is there. I want to talk about the connection between your home and your clutter as it relates to your career, your relationships, maybe your financial goals. We'll talk a little bit about recognizing common excuses that come up when we start to declutter, how to overcome them. That was last week's episode. Go back and listen to that. You're going to start to understand how mental clutter, how it shows up as scattered thinking, indecisiveness, self-doubt. And when that appears, we are hindered in our clarity and our productivity. We'll be talking about how to recognize clutter's visual, psychological, and emotional overwhelm that it creates inside you and inside your home. And above all, I want you to come away from the workshop feeling empowered and eager, right, to align your home so that it promotes a sense of peace, calm, and holistic well-being. So that is happening Thursday. I really hope to see you again. Anyone who attends live will receive a free clutter clarity session with me. It's a $99 value. So, a session with me is $100. I'm offering you one for free. So be sure to use the registration link below. Get your link, add it to your calendar, and I will see you on Thursday. So why a clutter workshop? Well, in my career as a feng shui interior designer and life coach, the first step is always decluttering. Whether it's decluttering our home, decluttering our mind, decluttering the body, we have to start removing what's not necessary in order to make room for new to come. And I'm doing this clutter workshop at this time because it's all about spring energy. We're shedding old layers. It's beyond just spring. There is something in the cosmos with this year, 2024. I'm telling you, this is just a really big transformative year for so many people, myself included. So there is no better time to do this decluttering work because we are all on the cusp of becoming so much more. And so I'm excited for all of us. And I want us to all take a really good look at our life and what's not working. What can we shed, right? Because if we want to be that person that we want to become, we have to shed the layers of who we no longer want to be. And those layers can show up in our home. They show up in our body in the form of pain and illness. And they show up in our mind. We're indecisive, we're worrying, right? That's all in the mind. This sense of mind, body, and home, again, when those three are in alignment with each other, we are then living our life from aligned spirit. And I really think that's what we're all here to do, is become more spiritual, right? To do the work so that we can evolve. So Mind Body Home for me really sprung from the book of the same title, Mind Body Home, which was written by Tisha Morris. I've mentioned her on this podcast many times. She also became my feng shui mentor. And I read Mind Body Home during COVID, and it really was the eye-opening moment for me. And I remember thinking, this isn't, I hear so often how overwhelmed people are. There's too much to do. We have women in the work field also raising families, men too. This is not just primarily women, but men too are overwhelmed. We are uncovering so much emotional trauma collectively. Like, everyone is experiencing this on such big levels. And I think that we've created such a distraction-based society. We distract ourselves with our things, our attachments to objects, relationships, jobs. And I feel like there's now, and I think COVID really brought this on for a lot of people, we're breaking all of that down, right? And it feels uncertain. It feels scary. We don't know if what we're doing is the right thing to do. And again, that brings me back to having a sense of community to do this work in, because it's so important to realize that we aren't alone, even though our journeys feel lonely. So after reading Mind Body Home, again, I realized this home portion is such an integral piece into the healing process. Like, our home is an essential part of living holistically. It's about bringing the whole into balance. And so if our home is out of order or out of balance, then it's really not possible for our life to feel like it's in order. The home is an extension of the mind, just like the body is. We've accepted that the body is an extension of mind, right? We don't just heal the body, we heal the mind in tandem. And it's the same with the home. We've got to integrate all three. And this is really not new information. Eastern medicine also focuses on balancing the home in addition to the mind and the body, both for cures and preventative maintenance. The Hindu version of feng shui is called Vastu. Like, this is not new information. For centuries, they have realized that the home is such an essential piece to our healing and our transformation. So again, when we bring into balance the mind, body, and home, and we start to see how they are all sort of playing off of each other, when we bring it all back to balance, we're living in our truth and we're fully aligned with our spirit. And so any adjustments that you make to your space, as long as they are done intentionally, is going to bring balance back into your life. So mind, body, home alignment is something that I'm offering for anyone seeking to make an impactful change in their own life, right? And we use your home as the environment of play and exploration and eventually transformation. So as I mentioned to you, I recently announced that I'm offering Mind Body Home alignment coaching. And I've been doing my own self and spiritual development now for over a decade. And when I started my business, Jade Scott Design, I started as an interior decorating service. And it has evolved almost every 2 years. It sort of changed a little bit of direction. And at the same time, I would remember joking with my husband all the time because I was so engrossed in my self-development. I devoured almost every single self-development book there was. I surrounded myself with people who were also doing the work. And I thought, man, if I could find a way to integrate home design with life design, that would be like the ultimate. And even though I said it out loud, I never considered being a life coach. I looked at life coaching like I look at realtors. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but everyone knows a life coach like everyone knows a realtor, right? You could probably name 5 people you know that have the real estate license. And I was one of them. When I lived in Florida, I got my real estate license. And that was one of the jokes that the broker I worked for would make. Like, everyone knows a realtor these days. And so it was like, how do you make yourself stand out? Like that's how you play the game. And so I kind of thought the same way about life coaching. And for a long time, that concept of everyone's a coach really is what held me back from taking the step into coaching. I was like, the world doesn't need another coach. But then I started to see that, what I talk about, and really the podcast is what has helped me see this is something different. This is something that people could use. And I mentioned in last week's episode, I did a poll on a few Facebook groups and just simply asked, what's one thing overwhelming you right now? I was not specific in asking about your job or your kids or your family, or, I kept it very general, and almost every single person responded with something related to the household or the juggling of the household and their families. Like they couldn't get a grasp on it. People are living in states of overwhelm, chaos, distraction, running from one thing to the next, not making space. And I thought, okay, people are overwhelmed with their homes. How can I help them? And that's when it was like, this is the time. Like, this is the time to offer this. So who is Mind, Body, Home alignment coaching for? It's for anyone who feels overwhelmed with their life. So if you're feeling overwhelmed in your life, chances are you're feeling overwhelmed within your own home. And your home is meant to be your sacred space. COVID really proved to us that our homes need to be our sanctuaries. They need to be our place of refuge. And so these alignment sessions are for anyone really who is simply overwhelmed and feels like there's not enough time, feels like they need an outside perspective, someone who can help you get granular with what it is that is overwhelming you. And when we start making changes within our own home, it's only natural that we start making changes to our life. So with that said, I want to put it out there to you. If this is resonating with you, if you've been listening for some time and thought, I wonder if Sara can help me, this is the time to do it. I'm offering you a clarity call. There's a booking link down below in the show notes. If you want to jump on a call for 15 minutes and just talk about where you're feeling overwhelmed, we can start with the things that are hitting hardest for you right now, and we can expand on that. I'm looking to coach 5 to 10 people over the course of the next several weeks. And I'm offering an extremely competitive rate to do this. So if working with someone has always piqued your interest, but money has maybe been a little bit of a stop sign for you, I really hope you'll take advantage of this because this is an amazing offer. And I'm just looking forward to meeting with you. Being on a podcast is sort of, sometimes you feel like you're talking into the void. So I would love to personally meet and connect with you face to face over Zoom. So the link to schedule a 15-minute clarity call with me is in the show notes, as is the link to register for the Connect with Your Clutter workshop. Remember, if you show up live, you will also receive a free one-on-one clutter clarity session, which is an hour-long session. It is literally a coaching session. So take advantage of that. I understand there needs to be a level of trust initiated. So come meet me in person, aka on Zoom, talk to me live, and let's chat. And that's it. That's all I have for you today. A short but sweet one. I wanted to talk a little bit about my coaching services, encourage you to sign up for the Connect with Your Clutter workshop if you haven't already. Links are in the show notes. I look forward to connecting with you at the workshop or next week. Until then, I'm sending you so much love and gratitude. Thank you so much for listening. This episode is brought to you by Jade Scott Design. Jade Scott Design houses a collection of services, products, and content that are aimed to support mind, body, and home. If you're interested in exploring your relationship to home on a deeper level, be sure to check out our website. Offerings include our signature Elemental Interiors decorating services, as well as mind, body, home alignment sessions. In addition, be sure to also take a look at our home decor line, Shop Elemental. All of this and information on the Mind, Body, Home podcast can be found at jadescottdesign.com.